Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of how to make an RNG series on Roblox. Now, first of all, I would like to be sorry that I haven't posted in a while. Last time I tried to record a episode, I forgot to capture my mic, so I have to redo this episode. And sorry again if I couldn't post for a while. I was busy with school and like learning for tests, exams, whatnot. So I am sorry again. But tonight we are gonna start with saving our data. I am actually gonna split the episode in two because I wanted to do the whole like inventory and the data saving in one episode, but that's just gonna take way too long. So I've decided that I'm gonna split it into two parts and we're gonna do the data saving now and the inventory later on. So now that I've yapped long enough, what I would like to change, first of all, is removing this black bar. Now, sure, I said it looks better, but I changed my mind, and we're just gonna quickly go to our side buttons in Starter GUI, click the holder, and set the background transparency to 1. Nice. So, now let's actually get started with our data saving. So, before we start, you wanna go into your game settings. If you haven't saved your game yet, then please do, because otherwise it's gonna be, losing a bunch of stuff that you've previously made. And I'm pretty sure you've saved your game by now, but just make sure. So, your game name shall be anything you'd like. I'm just naming it RNG testing with the YouTube tutorial, obviously. Because, this is for a YouTube tutorial. Makes sense. So, first, we're going into our permissions. Actually, no. Sorry, security, I mean. Inside security, you can enable Studio access to API services, which you're gonna need to actually save our data. And then we would also like to activate allow third-party sales as well as allow HTTP requests. All of those we are gonna need in future episodes and we're gonna enable them just for now. Third-party sales is basically gonna be for the game passes, and allow HTTP requests is something special. It's like when I think you guys know the Souls RNG, so like when someone gets something rare, like it posts a message. That is exactly what allow HTTP requests is used for. But we're gonna do that in a future episode, like all the way at the end of the series, because that is like an extra thing to add. So click save and then we can actually start with our scripting. First of all, go in script service, add a script and name this our leaderstats. Now, why not leaderboards, you might ask? Because leaderstats is the official name for the Roblox leaderboards and not leaderboard itself. Don't ask me why, it's just a thing that Roblox does. So, let's start. Now, maybe it's gonna be a bit weird for me to explain because I'm not actually gonna be scripting it. I'm just gonna be copying stuff over which I've previously made on a leaderstat script before. So, first of all, we're gonna grab our players, which is gonna be local players, game get servers, and our players. Then we are gonna grab our replicated storage. It's gonna be game get service replicated storage. Then we need our actual data store service. So local data store service, which is gonna store our data. Makes sense. And the last thing, which I'm not sure we're gonna need, but we're gonna put it in anyways, it's gonna be the run service. There we go. Like this. So, first of all, we are gonna do local. Actually, no. Actually, yeah, my bad. We're gonna do local data store, which is basically a data store which we're gonna be putting our stuff in, like our data. So we are gonna say data store service, get data store, like that. And now you can put anything in between here. Like, it doesn't matter what you're putting in. I'm just gonna say like test 1. So now I would like tell you guys to add a few comments below to like know what leader stats you're actually gonna save, like on what is everything. Like, let me show you an example. So this is gonna be our testing data source, which is gonna basically be test 1, test 2, test 3, ... to continue that. Next thing, we would like to add official data source, which is basically gonna be the actual public data store. So if anyone is gonna join the game right now, they're gonna like load data from that instead and not our test data store. So we're gonna do off1 for like official, off2, and off3, ... So now if you were to switch this with like test 2, it's obviously gonna like reset our entire data, and we are gonna use that later on. So let's get started. Local function, we're gonna do a wait for request budget. Now you don't entirely have to get what I'm typing here, because I don't know either. I used, like, I think I copied a script from GamerMate. I'm gonna be linking his channel in the description. But data stores are just weird to make in general, because like you have to know a lot about them to like actually kind of know what is happening. So local current budget, it's gonna be data store service get request budget for request type. This is a bit long, but we can like figure this out, and like you can just hit tab to like automatically complete this, because this is gonna be kind of bad to actually type in. Makes sense. So while our current budget is smaller than 1, then we could say, do instead of then, right? Our current budget shall be data store service get request budget for request type again, and our request type. And we can do that with a task.wait5 in between. So what essentially happens is it grabs the request budget for the request type, obviously, and if it is smaller than 1, then it just tries it again in 5 seconds. So like there's a wait in between. And now we can actually start with our setup of the leader sets. So setup leader sets, that's gonna be like that, and insert our player. So this is gonna take a while, so please make sure you're copying everything. So local user ID, it's gonna be player, not players, my bad, player singular dot user ID. Now what we could do, actually, we can shorten this up to PLR for the actual player, and we could do like a colon player to like indicate that that's an actual player. And what this essentially does is we can say player, right, dot user ID. You're instantly gonna see that. That's just gonna be more useful later on. And the key of that user is gonna be our player underscore dot user ID. What this does is it essentially grabs a string, and with the dot you can add stuff to the string that exists. So let's say our player ID was like this number, right? Our key after this would essentially be player underscore and then this number. Makes sense, that's our key. So next up, we are gonna create our leader sets, which is gonna be a instance.new folder Now, leader stats are just folders which might seem weird at first, but it's actually logical why in the future. I'm gonna show you guys in a second. So, leader stats.name, you have to make sure it's exactly like this, otherwise it's not gonna work. So type in leader stats like this, make sure it's 1-to-1, otherwise it's not going to work again. And now we can start with our values that we're gonna put inside of our leader stats. So first I would like to add our roles, which we're gonna showcase. So instance.new, that is gonna be our number value, and roles.parent is gonna be inside our leader stats. Roles.name. Now if you were to name these roles, you can like capitalize it, because this is what it's actually gonna display on the leaderboard or like the leader stats. So if I were to type like hello, it would, you could see it on the leader stats. Now let's just quickly remove this and actually say roles. Now we are actually gonna set the value of our roles at the start. That's gonna be 0. So before we do the rest, I am quickly gonna show you guys that it works. And below this function, we can basically type players.player added. We're gonna connect this to the setup leader stats. Now, what this does is essentially when a player is added, it just sets their leader stats up. That makes sense. But before we do anything, actually, we can set in between the function a quick for loop just to make sure that they're actually getting their leader stats. So we can say players get players do like this. So it gets every player inside of the players, and we can basically do a coroutine. What a coroutine is, I'm not gonna explain because that will take way too long, and the episode is gonna probably be over 1 hour then. But it's gonna be over 1 hour anyways, because I am a slow explainer. But we are gonna wrap a coroutine, basically saying setup leader stats, and we're sending the player data inside. So if I were to hit play right now, you guys can see that I have 0 roles up here, right? And if I were to hit roll, nothing's gonna happen. Why? Because we actually haven't made it so it increases in our, like, just in a value, like in a role, yeah. So back in our leader stats script, we can go back in our function, and let me just quickly check. So next up, after we have set our roles, you can actually just actually, we're gonna do that later on. I think we can just skip straight forward. Yeah, we can skip straight forward. We are just gonna be saving our roles for now. Our inventory is gonna be saved later on, like in future episodes, or like in the next episode, because we're gonna be scripting the inventory. My bad. So we are gonna define our success and a return value. And now we are gonna repeat something until it is success. That is security capabilities, I mean success. Or if it cannot find a player with your name. Like this. So it's basically just gonna repeat anything in here until success is true, or it can't find you anymore. So we are gonna use our wait for request budget function with our enum.dataStoreQuest type and get async. Now we're gonna do success, and our return value is gonna be a p call. Now what a p call is, I am not entirely sure, because I actually haven't looked into p calls. I should probably do that in the future. But we are gonna do dataStore.getAsync for now. And then we're gonna also be setting or like sending our data store in, as well as the key. Great. Now we are starting with the loading of the data. Yeah, the loading. So we can do if success, then if our return value actually is gonna be nil, so if it isn't anything, and then we can say that our return value is gonna be a table like this. And inside our table we can say, actually we don't need that, we can say that we are gonna be setting our roles. Now make sure you have written this exactly like it is inside the leader stats, otherwise it's not going to work. So the roles is basically gonna be 0. So when the player firstly loads in, it's gonna load in 0 if the return value is nil. Right, makes sense. So just a quick print we're gonna add, like to check if the return value is correctly set. You can do print return value, and if we were to hit play right now, you guys can see a table with roles set to 0. Great. If we were to save any data, it should be like 1, 2, or whatever, right? So now please pay attention, because this is very important. So we are gonna set our player dot leader stats. Make sure you type this exactly like the leader stats. Dot roles exactly like on the leader stats, and dot value. That is gonna be set to if our return value dot roles is not nil. So if it has any data inside, then our return value dot roles is basically gonna be, then it's just gonna set our player dot leader stats dot roles dot value to our return value dot roles. And if it would be nil, then we could just set it to 0. Great. And that's gonna be the complicated part. Now we can actually, that was actually most of the function done. Damn, didn't expect it to be that quick. Anyways, so make sure you go down 1 here and hit else. So if it wouldn't be a success, then we can basically say player colon kick like this, and set a kick message. So usually we can like tell the player that we're sorry, your data couldn't load in and whatnot. So we are gonna just send out a nice message saying your data couldn't be loaded in. So your data didn't load properly. Try again later. If the issue still exists, try contacting admins or developers. There we go. That is just gonna be a quick message telling the player that the data couldn't be loaded in, and I can quickly show you guys that. So if I were to set this to comments, like you don't have to do this right now. I'm just gonna do this to show you guys that. So if our success would be false, then you can see the player gets kicked, and you can see your data didn't load properly, try again later. There we go, that's our message. So now that we have that, we can start with saving our data. So local function save, set our player again like this, and then we can do the same as up here, copy the user ID and the key like that, paste it in, and we can start with setting our roles. Our local roles is gonna be our player dot leaders stats, like that. And make sure you type that exactly like you have it in the leaderboard, otherwise it's not going to work. And now after this we can say our local data table, which is basically gonna be our data that we're saving. That is gonna be our roles, it's gonna be our roles. Amazing. And that's our entire data, because we're not saving anything else at the moment. Now we can do our local success again and our return value, and we can basically do the same thing as up there. We are gonna wait for our request budget with our enum data store request type, but this time we are setting it on update async. So we're updating our request type. So success and our return value, it's basically gonna be another p column saying that the data store dot update async. Make sure you type this correctly. Then we are setting our data store. Then we are also getting our key and a function this time, like this. Inside our function, actually there has to be one of those, I think. Why is it an error? Well, we're gonna check that pretty soon. I don't know why that's happening. Yeah, we're checking that in a second. Sorry. So first of all, we are gonna return our data table. Now, why is this bug happening? Maybe because this is missing? No, this isn't missing. So let me just quickly hit X, say local function, save with the player, like so. And something is wrong. Huh. Why is that happening? Expected identifier. No, that is not what I want to do. There you go. Let me just quickly load in. Why is that happening? Why is that happening? Alright, my bad. Because we actually haven't said anything after the repeat. What it's basically gonna do is it's gonna repeat this forever. Because it's never checking for anything. So it's just gonna repeat until the success happens. Now what you can do is print out our data table to check if everything saved correctly. And then for the last function we're gonna do, this is gonna be our local function, which is gonna be on shutdown. So if the game were to like update, like shut down a private server room or whatnot, then we can actually save our data. Right, so if run service, we did actually need that in the end. So if run service is studio, then we can basically say task.wait 2. And if it isn't in studio, then we can say else our local finish data is gonna be our instance.new, I have caps lock on. It's gonna be a new bindable event like this. And local all players is gonna be the count of all players like this. And local left players, so how many are still remaining, that is gonna be the number of all players. Now again, a hashtag in front of anything is gonna count how many things are inside of that variable. So for every single player in iPairs, we're gonna do all players. So in every single player, we are gonna be doing a coroutine, and we're gonna wrap a function, and which we're basically going to save our player. We are gonna set the left players to -1, and then we can do if left players is 0, then we can fire our finished event. Sorry, not -1, -1. There we go. And at this end right here, we are also adding another bracket. Yeah, like that. So, and after this end right here, we are just gonna quickly say finished dot event colon wait. So it's gonna wait until the finished event has been called. So now for the last thing, where we're saving our data, we can do players dot player removing, and we are gonna connect it to our save function. And we can do game bind to close. So if the server would be like closing, then we can connect this to our on shutdown function. And now to actually like save our data, we can firstly wait 600 seconds or like 10 minutes, and then we can save every single player in the lobby. So every player in iPairs, players get players do. We are wrapping another coroutine with our save and with our player. So it's basically gonna wait 600 seconds or 10 minutes, and then it's gonna save every single player in the lobby. So let's check if our leader sets actually save the data. So right now I have 0 roles, right? So up here you can click current client and switch this to server. Then you go into players, click on your player, and you can find a leader stats folder. If you open this up, you can see the roles inside, and we can adjust that however you'd like. I'm putting it to 69, cause like funny number, haha. And as you can see, my roles updated to 69. So if I were to close the game, you guys will see that there's a a table inside of our output, and if we open that, our roles saved to 69. That is correct. And if I were to load in again, you guys can see the roles got loaded in, and our data table is 69 again. Amazing. Right, so now if you want, you don't have to, you can get the prints and comment them out like this, because you are not gonna be needing them anymore. That was just to test if it actually works. Amazing. So one more thing, if I load in the game, obviously I wanna start off with 0 roles, so I'm setting my roles again to 0 like this. And if I were to click role, they should increase by 1. So let's quickly do that. First of all, we are gonna need a different script inside of script service, which we're gonna call like this: update values. And then we are gonna go into replicated storage, into our remotes, into our rolling folder, and add a remote event. This remote event we are gonna call update roles. Yeah, update roles. So first of all, inside of our script, we can do local replicated storage. That's gonna be game get service replicated storage. So local replicated storage, and then we are gonna require sorry, not require, then we're gonna get our remotes, which is gonna be replicated storage, wait for child remotes, and our local rolling RAM for short. Local rolling remotes. So remotes, wait for child, rolling, and that's it. Inside of our rolling RAM, we can do wait for child, update roles, dot, I think it was, what was it again? Let me check through. There we go. Dot on server event, like this. We can connect this to a function, and inside of our function, we are gonna set our, first of all, player, and the second one is gonna be our new value. Yeah, so now what we're gonna do is, first of all, we're gonna grab our players as well. I completely forgot this. Get service players, and we can say, actually we don't even need the players, my bad. So player, wait for child, leaderstats, then we're gonna hit another wait for child, which is gonna be exactly how we wrote that inside our leaderstats. So roles, and then we're gonna set roles like this in here, and then we can say dot value plus equal over new value. That should be everything. Now all we have to do is actually call that remote. So go inside your rolling handler script, which is gonna be inside starter GUI, inside our rolling GUI, and there we go, rolling handler. What we have to do is we're gonna go up here, say local remotes. That is gonna be replicated storage, wait for child remotes, local rolling RAM. That is gonna be remotes, wait for child rolling, like this. And then if we were to actually go inside our roll button.activated, if you scroll down at the end, before the debounce. Actually no, we can set this all the way at the start. After we've set the roll debounce to 2, you can say rolling RAM, like this, say wait for child, update roles, and then we can say fire server with our player, which we actually haven't made. So we're gonna do local players at the top, game get service players, and just below we can say local player, which is gonna be players.local player. Down here again we are gonna fire the player and our one singular role that we're updating. So if I were to hit play, you can see I have 0 roles. If I were to click roll, I got an error. Why is that? On number and instance. New value, that shall be a 1, right? I'm not dumb. And the roles. So let me comment this out real quick, because I need to check something. We're gonna quickly hit a print, type off, then we can say all of this. If it were to be a number value, then it is correct. It is an instance, not a number value. Why is that a number? Why is that an instance, not a number value? That is weird. Wait, so if I were to say dot value, what would it be? A number. Right, no, so then it works. But then what is new value if that's not a number? because a number and a number should equal another number. Why is that an instance? I am confused. Let me print out a new value real quick. And why is that me? What the fuck? Alright, no, because inside our local script we actually don't have to fire our player. We only have to fire the one, because the player automatically gets sent to our server script. I completely forgot that. My bad. So I can remove the print, remove the comment, and it should work completely fully. So check the rolls, that is 0. If I hit roll, it's gonna increase by 1. I got common, which obviously doesn't work with our inventory right now. And I can just keep on clicking roll, and it won't go up unless I can actually click roll. Right, makes sense. There we go. That is actually, just to make sure, even though I know it's gonna work, if I were to rejoin, you guys can see our rolls save. Amazing. So that was actually the entire episode. I thought it's gonna take way longer, but 36 minutes for an entire like leaderboard script is actually fine. Like, I thought it's gonna be way longer. Now, before I go, quickly a quick disclaimer. I have a Discord server. If you guys didn't know that, please join that server, verify with Block's link, and then you can chat with our community. I'm gonna be posting like YouTube videos, I'm gonna be posting updates on my games, I'm gonna be doing a lot of stuff. If a video should be delayed, that is gonna get an announcement. You can obviously check if you want to get notified for YouTube pings, for general pings and whatnot. I have completely customized the Discord server. Let me show you real quick. So this is gonna be our quick outro. I'm gonna blur the side of the screens, just you can't like leak anything. And here you go, that is my Discord with the announcements, updates and whatnot. You're gonna get notified for everything you would like. Right, thanks again for watching. Like, thank you so much. I really appreciate the support, and I really like to see you in the next episode where we're gonna be scripting our inventory. Thanks again for watching, and see you soon.